live in a world controlled by technology, when the number one thing is to have convenience in our hands. And that's wonderful for me and my work as a computer system engineer and as a technology teacher. And I've been working over 15 years now in Tijuana. The first couple of years in my work as a teacher, I only concentrate in what my school programs have to offer. But something didn't feel right. I saw apathy and little to no interaction between classmates, sometimes violence, and no motivation to learn beyond their homework. I saw the bodies, but not the spirit. The spirit, maybe they were sleeping in their own beds, right? I slowly learned to listen and look for new methods so my students can develop software, communication, and information technology. And it worked. But I found out that I have good students, good programmers, but they didn't want to think outside the box, creativity-wise. Had I created robots instead of human beings? Over time, I tried many methods until I found out an article that described art, music, and critical thinking. Bingo. The next day, I arrived excited with my students. So I asked, how many of you have seen a theater play? 60 raised their hand, over 240. How about an art exposition? 3. A poetry recital? 0. How about a live symphony and opera? Again, the answer was 0. The more questions that I asked, the more shocked I was by the answers, until I asked a very important question. How many of you would you like to go to an artistic event? Half of them raised their hand. Half of them. It was at the time that I took upon the task to find opportunities for my students. Luckily for me, my daughters had been participating with Tijuana Opera and with the International Society of Poets, Writers, and Artists. So it wasn't impossible for me to find these events within the city. Now the problem was to make my very apathetic students go to these events. So the solution that I came with was to make it part of their grades. I offer an extra credit if they attend conference or artistic event. So I promoted and promoted and promoted these events. And you won't believe the kind of gestures that my students make. They cringe and distort their faces just thinking about going to a poetry recital because they really didn't want to go. Of course, teenagers, high schoolers have better things to do than spend time with their teacher after school hours in a Saturday, right? They're very busy. They're very busy. Little do they know the sheer amount of work that I have to do to get these opportunities, to talk to organizers to reserve seats for them, and not to charge for entry. I easily spent hour after hour calling, sending emails, and I really thought I would do it just once. And I've been doing this for the past 7 years. And while I don't get paid, I'm satisfied to see the change from a cringe to a smile every time I invite them to an art activity, and to see the change in attitude and creativity that they have. I was lucky enough to get a generation of my students and bring into the class book authors, singers, rappers, opera director, theater plays, eco-friendly businessmen and women, nature workshop, and many more with a really positive message, United Nations representative, and a Nobel Prize winner. And the experience and the change was wonderful for me and my students. I really don't know if they noticed the change of conversations that they have or the quality of their work improves so much. Some of them were out of their way to create new and innovative projects. Many of them contribute to society with art and poetry, and a few of them didn't do anything. And that's okay, because we're not all prepared to embrace change. But I would like to think that the seed of change is planted in them. And I will keep planting wherever I go. Last year, my life and the life of my children changed drastically. We have to leave our home in Tijuana and come here to ElCajon, where I'm now working as a volunteer here in this school where my daughter attends 6th grade. And over these past few months, we have a poetry and a short story workshop. We have 2 empathy to others workshop, and I bring an opera director from Milan, Italy, into the school to talk to the children, and a writer, activist, political woman who was the president of the political campaign of Hillary Clinton. Here, I found support, and they embraced my idea to educate without forgetting the ethical values and empathy to others. And I hope you can join us to get that dream and to have and get the full potential out of all human beings.